What is good, YouTube? And today I'm going to show you guys an Inferno Terrormaton one-shot team that uses Ninfoniel, which sounds pretty odd because she's odd, hahaha. And green bosses will do, I guess Terrormaton's case, he does 300% damage. But we're going to use some buffs to keep her alive, and you're going to see that she's the only attack buffer on the team, and she allows you to kill the boss in about 30 seconds, which is extremely fast. So if you're looking to speed farm Terrormaton because you need those Keen Eye pieces or those Fury Edge pieces for your DPS, or you need that Ether Plague specialized core for like your Halloween build on Veronica and stuff like that, or even some other more niche pieces like Cure and Wellspring for your healers and PvE content, I'll show you guys how to farm it very quickly if you have Ninfoniel built. So basically this team will center around Ninfoniel. It's going to be pretty easy to build. The hardest part about this is actually going to be having the units required. Ninfoniel is currently running. We're also going to be using Diting as our main DPS and Dinah as our defense breaker. The last two spots, they're pretty, I wouldn't say hard to get, but they're pretty specific. For your Dispeller, you pretty much need Veronica, and that's because Ninfoniel is blue, you need the Soul Word so she doesn't die. So if you don't have Veronica, I don't know if you can do this run. I've tried other Dispellers, but it doesn't work because Ninfoniel gets absolutely blown up, even on a high health build, because Terrormaton is green. But yeah, you want her because she can dispel the immunity off the boss, which will allow your debuffs to stick and land. And also she has Soul Word, which will make it so that you can survive. So pretty important to have her. And then the last spot is another DPS. You can use Liliam, you can use Yeli. I'll showcase both with my team. And you can also use two other RGB characters in Hoyan and also Khloros. And Khloros is going to be a character I also show you at the end of the video. It's not my team, it's someone else's on the rankings, but it's pretty much the same exact setup with some nuances which we'll talk about during the run, but Khloros will work as well. So basically the fastest character on your team has to be Veronica. So Veronica needs to be the fastest because she needs to dispel the buff, right, from the boss so you can apply debuffs. And you want her to go before the main body, which is 265 speed or higher, because you need her to apply Soul Word. So I have her at 280, 290 actually, wait, 280, yeah. You don't need her at 280, you can have her at 265, 266, it's still fine. You just need her to dispel the boss and also get the Soul Word up so you don't die before the main boss actually AoEs. For the setup, you just go full effect accuracy and then just full speed like I said. Now for your shell, if you're one cycling the boss and killing it really fast, you don't really need a shell, to be honest. Well, you need a shell for the stats, but you don't really need the effect. But if you're finding that you're lacking damage to kill on the first cycle, you can just run her on Codex, and you can run Dinah and Ninfoniel as well on Codex, and you can make the team a 2-cycle team. Although it'll be slower, you can still kill the boss this way. So that's her shell and her stats. Now the second character to go is Dinah. You want her to be slower than the main body. So her and Ninfoniel and pretty much everyone else that you use need to be slower than the main body, which is 265 speed, or 264 rather. And the reason why is because if you go before the main body, you lose your Soul Word before the main body takes a turn, and you'll end up dying and the run will fail. So you want her to be slower than the main body. You want level 3 in her S3, although it's not required, it's just extra chance to land the erosion. You don't really need the erosion to kill the boss, honestly, actually. And then you just want her on a full effect accuracy setup. And like I said, same with Veronica, the shell doesn't really matter too much, but if you're looking to 2-cycle in the boss, you will need Codex. Ninfoniel, same deal, you just want her slower than the main body, but faster than your DPS. Yeah, just have her on whatever setup you need. You don't really need HP at all, because the shield you're always applying after the boss hits you, so you don't really get any value out of the shield. So because of that, you don't really need any stats other than speed. And of course for the shell, you can see mine's on a level 10 shell Codex. You can have her on Codex if you're playing for the 2-cycle, like I said. Otherwise, you can just put her on whatever and it's going to be fine. Now for your DPS. So the DPS that we're using in every comp is going to be Diting. He just does immense single target burst, and he does so much damage with Ninfoniel, which is crazy. And basically, you just want him on a full damage setup. Keen Eye Fury is going to be the best with Fury Edge, and just run him on as much damage as you can. And for your shell, you want him to be on count. I don't have a count available. Every single time I say this, someone always says in the comments, shouldn't you be using count? Isn't it more damage? Yes, it's more damage, but I have White Fang on him. It still works. It's less damage, yes, but I don't have a count available to use on him, so I'm using White Fang. Now, there's one thing about your DPS. Even though you want them to be the slowest on your team, you do want them at 198 speed or higher. And the reason why is because the second arm is at 197 speed, And what that means is if the second arm goes before your DPS, it will dispel the boss off its debuffs and also push up the boss, which you don't want. You want to keep your defense down on the boss. This is how you actually kill it. So you need your DPS at 198 speed or higher. Now, in terms of the last spot for the second DPS, like I said, Yeli, Liliam, which I'll showcase on my account because those are the ones I have built. You can also use Khloros or Hoyan. You want them to go before Dieting and also after your supports. Now, Khloros, if you use Khloros, you actually want him to go before your Dyna. So you want Ninfoniel to go before your Khloros, and then Khloros to go before Dyna, and then Dieting. So it's a little bit more nuanced, so I'll show you guys the run at the end of the video. You can see why that's important, but just trust me, you want Khloros to go before your defense breaker, which sounds very weird, right? Everyone else, Liliam and Yeli, you want them to go after your 3 supports and then before Dieting, because this way, this guarantees that Dieting will target the boss, so you get way more damage. And your setup's pretty much the same as Dieting. You just want to make sure you're faster than the second arm at 198 speed, and you want to make sure you're faster than Dieting, right? So my Liliam's on Momentum, Swift Raid, Fury, not the best setup. Kenai is way better. She's also on White Fang. Like I said, not the best setup. Count is way better, but you just have her on full damage and she'll be fine. Yeli is the same thing. You just have her on 70% crit instead. You can run her on Momentum. You can run her on Kenai. It doesn't really matter too much, but I think Harvest is going to be the highest damage because you're getting maximum defense pen value. Now, in terms of if it's actually going to be the absolute highest damage potential, I don't really know, but it works for me on Harvest Fury Edge, so that's what I use. The only thing with her is you need her on Revelation because she multi-hits like 4 or 5 times on her S3, sometimes even 6 if you get good RNG, and you're going to see that she does a lot of damage and then will allow your Dieting to finish off the boss, similar to what Liliam will do in that spot. So I'll show you guys the run now. You can see how it works and the speed tunings, and you'll see that it's a pretty smooth run. As long as Veronica lands the Dispel and as long as Dinah lands the defense break, which is always going to happen most of the time, like I don't think she ever really misses because she hits 4 times, then you're going to see that the run will succeed. So you're pretty much praying that Veronica lands her Dispel. So I'm going to show you guys the run now using Liliam first, then I'll show you Yeli and then Khloros. But basically you'll see that she will Dispel the boss, apply Soul Ward so no one dies. You'll see everyone gets hit low, but it doesn't matter. Then Dinah will S3 the boss and land her debuffs. She does. Ninfoniel will S3 and then give everyone the shield with attack buff. Then you'll see that Liliam will S3 into the boss here. Does a ton of damage, and then Dieting will literally just kill it off with his S3 right after. So yeah, that's the run. You just 2-shot the boss, super strong. Ninfoniel is just very, very powerful, and if you're thinking that Liliam did all the heavy lifting, I'll show you guys the run with Yeli now. So here we go, I'll show you guys the run with Yeli. It's literally the same setup. You'll see that the speed tuning is exactly the same as well, but Veronica, does the same thing, dispels. You can see my Ninfoniel actually lives with 1 health, so you might want to make her a little bit tanky, honestly, so you don't die to the opener. But Ninfoniel will then, S3 to give everyone a shield and attack buff. Then Yeli will S3 to do a ton of damage to the boss here. Even with 1 follow-up attack, you can kill the boss. She gets 2, which is actually more likely. And because we get 2 follow-ups, you don't actually need the White Fang proc, and the boss is dead. So I'll actually show you a Khloros team. I found it on the rankings. It's not my team, but like I said, it does work. And you're going to see the setup is pretty much exactly the same as mine. The only thing is you want Khloros to go before your Dinah, and you'll see why, because it makes his mark actually proc, and it makes you do way more damage. So only difference with Khloros is, yeah, you have Khloros go before your Dinah, but still after your Ninfoniel. And you'll see the buffs go up here. Khloros will apply his mark with S3. He's at 10 stacks, right? Dinah then defense downs and applies her debuffs. Dieting then hits into the boss, and you'll see it'll proc Khloros right after, and it'll finish off the boss here. Here we go. Yeah, and that is the Khloros team. That's not mine, it's this guy's. Shout out to, let me find him, Acne2704, but you can use it with Khloros. You don't have to have Yeli or Liliam. I just don't have Khloros built, but you can see it works with him as well. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video.